to the health center. It's nearly 12 kilometers, but distance is no factor. Some days are harder than others. If it rains, this stream is flooded. I am happy that my dear husband is going with me today. This is going to be the third visit. The first was when my baby was born. The second time was 6 weeks after his birth. The third is today, which is 10 weeks after birth. I still have 2 more visits to go. When my baby is 14 weeks old, and again at 9 months. That is exactly 5 visits before my baby is 1 year old.
You've come for your baby's immunization?
Yes, we have.
It's okay.
My neighbor once asked me why. Must I go? I told her my baby's future is important to me.
Show how you care for your children by making sure they are immunized 5 times before their first birthday. Because if you don't finish it, you haven't done it.
maka mgbasa ozi tọrọ atọ dịka a na-apịachi mmemme ọnwa mgbasa ozi uru ara. Gọọmenti Ebonyi ewepụtala akatamkpo ego gburu $1 maka ndị na-ebugharị ahịa ụwa na-atụ n'ọnụ. Ọzọ, gọọmenti steeti Abia achọpụtala ihe karịrị ozu mmadụ 20 na gburugburu ahịa ehi Lọkpanta. Nwekwara ike ikiri anyị n'onyonyo YouTube na NTA Enugu. Wadikwara gị na mma onye ma na-echere oge a. Taa bụ Monde ahịa Nkwọ. Ọka akụkọ ọbụm Yukeria Ugwu. Gwatọ ntị n'ala ka ịnụrụ akụkọ ụwa ka ọha na uju. Dịka ụwa na-apịachi ime ka amara maka uru ara nke afọ a, ndị ma nke ekwe na-akụ na-akpọ oku maka mgbasa ozi tọrọ atọ nakwa ịgbasa ozi gbasara uru ara iji hụ na emere ka ụmụ nwanyị mara maka ọgwụgwọ ọgbara ọhụrụ ha nwere ike ịhọrọ gwọọ ya bụ ọrịa. Edidilong Eba wetara akụkọ ọsị ọrịa uru ara nke bụ otu n'ime ọrịa na-egbu egbu na-emekpa ndị inyom ahụ, nke bụ ihe na-eri gọọmenti n'otu ndị ọzọ dị iche iche nri n'ahụ kemgbe ọtụtụ afọ gara aga. Nke a bụ n'ihi na ọ bụghị naanị ụmụ nwanyị ka ọ na-emekpa ahụ, ma ọ na-emetụta obodo anyị n'ụzọ dị iche iche n'ibuso ọrịa na-egbu egbu agha ma bụrụkwa nke a na-agwọ agwọ ma chọpụta ya n'oge. Otu mba ụwa wepụtara ọnwa Ọktoba niile ka ọ bụrụ nke eji agbasa ozi banyere ọgwụgwọ ọrịa uru ara nakwa ịchọpụta ya n'oge. Mkparịta ụka e nwere n'etiti ụmụ nwanyị ụfọdụ na-egosi na ebe ụfọdụ ma gbasara ọrịa ụfọdụ amaghị maka ya chaa dịka onye mara nke ekwe na-akụ si kwuo na inwe mmepe n'ihe gbasara ọgwụgwọ mere ka amata maka ịchọpụta ya n'oge. Ị na-elele ara n'oge ọbụla nwere ike ịbụ ụsa nyere ịchọpụta uru ara n'oge. Ụlọ nzukọ nnọchiteanya ekwuola na ọ nabatara ntụziaka onye inspektọ jeneral ndị uwe ojii nyere n'isi nso a nyere ngalaba ụlọ ọrụ ndị uwe ojii ala anyị dị iche iche maka ileta ma nye onye ọbụla ọdachi mgbe egbe dakwasara ọgwụgwọ dịka ọ dị na iwu akpọrọ Act 2017. Nke ahụ dị n'ozi ndị a gbakọrọ aka ọnụ wee binye aka. Maki Abubakar Yelema, onye isi oche otu kọmitii ihe gbasara ndị uwe ojii, na Akinrotimi Junior onye isi oche otu kọmitii ụlọ nzukọ okwu gbasara mgbasa ozi. Ụlọ nzukọ nnọchiteanya hụtara ọnọdụ a site n'aka ndị uwe ojii ka nke dabara adaba ya nakwa nke emere na mgbe ya n'ihi mkpesa na-arị ibe ya elu site n'aka ụmụafọ Naịjirịa gbasara ndị ụlọ ọgwụ na-ajụ inye ndị nwere ọdachi mgba egbe n'ahụ ha, ndị ohi nakwa ndị nwere ihe mberede ọgwụgwọ bụ ndị ewetaghị akwụkwọ ikike ndị uwe ojii. Ụlọ nzukọ kwukwara na ihe a IG mere nyere iku ume ndụ na ndụ nwaafọ ọbụla bara uru. Ọ ga-eweghachikwa ntụkwasị obi e nwere n'ụlọ ọgwụ. Ozi a na-adụzi ndị uwe ojii n'otu jikọrọ ndị dibịa bekee ala anyị ọdụ ka ha bagide nke a iji hụkwa na adabere na ya ma kpọpụkwa ndị dara iwu a ụlọikpe. Maka mmetụta ihe ahụ ụmụafọ Ebonyi na-ebugharị ihe n'akụkụ ala anyị na-ahụta, gọọmenti steeti Ebonyi enyela onye ọbụla n'ime ihe karịrị narị mmadụ 5 ndị na-ebugharị ihe nde naira abụọ ka ha were bido ahịa nke ha. Ka a na-ayọ Okoro wetara akụkọ na otu ijeri naira bụ nke ewepụtara na mmemme ejiri gbapee ya na steeti ahụ. Ọ sị n'inye ndị ritere elele a nde naira abụọ n'otu n'otu bụ ndị na-ebugharị ahịa mbugharị sitere Lagos, Abuja, Aba, Port Harcourt na Onitsha bụ otu ụzọ iji mejupụta nkwa achụmnta vootu nke gọvanọ Nwifuru bụ nke o bu n'obi ka ndị Ebonyi malite ịzụ ahịa nke ha. Gọvanọ Nwifuru chọpụtara na ụlọ mmepụta ngwaahịa bụ ihe na-enyere mmepe obodo ọbụla aka. Ọ bụ nke a mere o ji kpebie ịkwalite ndị Ebonyi ma dịkwa ha ọdụ ka ha were ohere a gbanwee akụkọ ọnọdụ akụnụba Ebonyi. Ndị ọnụ na-eru n'okwu toro afọ ọma wee kwuo na ọ ga-ebelata ụbịam n'etiti ndị be ha. Ekwuola na tupu amalite agba nke abụọ a ga-achọpụta ndị ga-enyocha etu ndị enyere ego si tinye ya n'ọrụ. Gọọmenti steeti Abia chọpụtala ihe karịrị ozu mmadụ 20 legoro ere na ọkpụkpụ mmadụ agaghị agụta ọnụ na gburugburu ahịa Ehilọkpanta dị n'okpuru ọchịchị ụmụnne Ochi dị na steeti ahụ. Akanachi steeti Alex Oti mere ka amata nke a na mkparịta ụbụbọ ya na ndị nta akụkọ a na-eme kwa ọnwa nke emere n'obi gọọmenti dị n'Ụmụahịa. Ifeọma Ndokoli wetara akụkọ. Ọ sị na mkparịta ụka ndị nta akụkọ nke akpọrọ gọvanọ Oti na-ekwu Akanachi steeti chọpụtara na ịgba akwụna na ire ọgwụ ike na mpụ na arụ ndị ọzọ na gburugburu ahịa ehi nke Lọkpanta kpaliri ịbọsa ime ahịa ahụ mgbe a gbara ụlọ obibi ndị akwụna ọkụ n'isi nso a, na-ekwu na ihe agawala nke ọma n'obodo ụmụnne Ochi. Gọvanọ mere ka amata na ozu mmadụ rere ere na ọkpụkpụ mmadụ bụ nke achọpụtara n'ime ahịa ahụ n'isi nso a ma kwechiri na ahịa ahụ ga-abụ ahịa na-azụzi kwa ụbọchị malite n'elekere 6 nke ụtụtụ ruo n'elekere 6 nke mgbede iji gbochie enweghị nchekwa a na-ahụta ebe ahụ. Gọvanọ amalitela ịgba ahịa ahụ ogige iji chekwaa ndụ na akụnụba ndị na-azụ ahịa n'ebe ahụ. Onye ọkaiwu ama ama ma bụrụkwa ode akwụkwọ ukwu gburugburu ọhaneze ndị Igbo, Ọkammụta Ben Nwabueze anwụọla. Onye ode akwụkwọ na minista na-ahụ maka mmụta n'oge mbụ nwụrụ ka ọ gbachara 92. Ozi enwetara na-ekwu na ọ nwụrụ ụnyaahụ bụ Sọnde na be ya. Nwabueze senior advocate nke Nigeria bụ onye a mụrụ n'afọ 1932 na Atani, steeti Anambra. Ọkammụta Ben Nwabueze bụ onye mbụ na mbụ nwetara nzere agụmakwụkwọ senior advocate nke Nigeria, onye nkụzi, onye nlekọta, onye na-azụ ahịa na onye nkwalite ndị ntorobịa. Ọ bụ akụkọ a ka anyị ji apịacha akụkọ nke uhuruchi ma tupu mbilie ngere isiokwu ndị ghọrọ anyị akụkọ. Ndị ma nke ekwe na-akụ akpọọla oku maka mgbasa ozi tọrọ atọ dị ka a pịachiri mmemme ọnwa mgbasa ozi ure ara. Gọọmenti Ebonyi ewepụtala akatakpo ego gburu 1 ijeri naira maka ndị na-ebugharị ahịa mbugharị ụwa na-atụ n'ọnụ. Anyị kọkwara gị na gọọmenti steeti Abia achọpụtala ihe karịrị ozu mmadụ 20 na gburugburu ahịa ehi Lọkpanta. Ọgwụkwa ka ọ ha m n'ọnụ ma chebirizie chi ego ọ na-arọ maka ịtapịara gị akụkọ ụwa n'asụsụ Bekee nọdụkwa ebe ị nọ. On the news tonight, experts call for sustained advocacy as month of breast cancer awareness rounds off. Ebonyi State government disburses 1 billion naira for indigent hawkers. Plus, Abia State government discovers 20 dead bodies around Lopanta cattle market. You can watch us live on YouTube channel at NTA Enugu. Good evening and welcome to the news. I am Chiegono Aro. Now details of the news. As the world rounds off this year's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, experts are calling for sustained advocacy and awareness creation about breast cancer to ensure women are brought to speed on innovations and treatment options for the ailment. Edidion Ibo reports.
Breast cancer, which is one of the most common and deadly ailments with the feminine gender, has for several years been a source of concern to governments and organizations. This is not unconnected with the fact that it affects not just women alone, but has ripple effects transcending the entire society. In combating this deadly yet treatable disease, if discovered in good time, the international community dedicates the entire month of October to create awareness and to draw attention to early detection and treatment.
We can't really say there are causes of breast cancer, but we can say there are predisposing factors to breast cancer. The modifiable factors and the non-modifiable factors.
An interaction with some women in Uyo shows that while some have a fair knowledge of what the disease entails, others are truly ignorant.
From time to time, I have to make an assessment, either by weekly or monthly, to ensure that the breast is in accurate order.
If breast cancer gets severe, it can lead to surgical removal of the breast. It spreads too. And I think I heard wearing tight bras cause it too. I'm not sure of that.
And that person needs, the breast of that person needs to be cut off so that the person may live. It's 50-50.
According to consultant radiologists, advancements in medicine that can aid early detection and treatment.
Mammogram is recommended maybe from age of 35 because that person is high risk, and especially if the mother had breast cancer or the sister.
Regular self-breast examination may just be the answer in detecting breast cancer early, and these doctors say may improve treatment. In Uyo, Edidion Iba, NTA News.
The House of Representatives says it welcomes the recent directives from the Inspector General of Police to various formations and commands of the compulsory treatment and care for victims of Gunshot Act 2017. This contained in a statement jointly signed by Maki Abubakar Yeleman, Chairman House Committee on Police Affairs, and Akin Rotimi Jr., Chairman House Committee on Media and Public Affairs. The House views this development from the Nigeria Police Force as timely and commendable, considering rising complaints by Nigerians about hospitals that decline prompt treatment of victims of gunshot incidents, robberies, and even vehicular accidents who do not present police reports. The House notes that the IG's action offers relief, that value is placed on life of every citizen of Nigeria and restores confidence in our hospitals. The statement urged the Nigeria Police and the Nigerian Medical Association to follow on through this commitment to ensure strict compliance with the Act and pursue offenders and persecute offenders. Touched by the plight of Ebonyi people hawking in different parts of the country, the state government has given 2 billion naira to each of the over 500 indigent hawkers to start up their own businesses. Kana Okoro reports that 1 billion naira was disbursed at the flag-off ceremony in the state.
The disbursement of 2 million naira to each of the beneficiaries who are hawkers selected from Lagos, Abuja, Aba, Port Harcourt and Onitsha is in fulfillment of one of the campaign promises of Governor Francis Nwosu to empower Ebonyi people with funds to establish a business of their own.
But with this privilege, we are very much believe that from today our life have changed, and even the life of our families that we left behind.
So I'm here for them to help me to learn a skill.
I didn't know that this can happen in my life.
Governor Francis Nwosu underscored the place of industrialization in development of any nation, hence his resolve to empower the people in that direction. He advised the beneficiaries to make use of the opportunity to change the economic narrative of the state.
At this moment we have very educated, very endowed, great leaders of our great states with a great skills and innovations. So it's not a challenge to most of our leaders and to most of our youth today to make yourself available for go to equip you.
Some stakeholders commended the program, stressing that it will help reduce poverty amongst the people.
You really may not know the level you have gone by this empowerment program. You have touched many families.
So this is the first time in Ebonyi that program meant for the poor is actually getting the poor. So the people that are the poor people should be able to enjoy the dividends given to them by the governor.
Before the disbursement of the second batch, modalities have been put in place by government to monitor the first batch beneficiaries for effective utilization. In Abakaliki, Kana Yokoro, NTA News.
We take a short break here. We shall be back. Stay where you are. Welcome back. Anambra State government has also empowered 5,000 beneficiaries of One Youth, Two Skills with a check of 2 billion naira grant. This was during the graduation and business financing ceremony for batch 1 beneficiaries of the scheme. Ndem Carlo has the report.
The scheme is to fulfill the promise of the present administration to create 1,000 youth millionaires and 130,000 private jobs annually, thereby making Anambra the skill hub of West African sub-region and produce smart entrepreneurs who are economically productive and socially responsive. Being equipped with vocational, technical and managerial skills, the beneficiaries are to utilize the opportunity maximally.
We are interested in taking your destiny in your own hands. You are interested in acquiring the basic skills and knowledge. Not only the skills to do it, but also the knowledge to run a business.
Reaching the financial stage of the pilot phase, Batch 2 has already received the data of over 150,000 youths across the state, including 6,000 applications from expert trainers and vocational institutions in 55 skill areas.
Government at all levels have to play a key role as obstacles, while the private sector encourages young entrepreneurs through mentoring, so that in Anambra we will use what we produce and produce what we use. They have been properly exposed to the rigors of international professional institutions.
Beneficiaries expressed gratitude for the program.
As a master trader who has already trained some people and have a workshop, I'm going to buy more equipment, get more accommodation. Then I will now create websites that will enable me to market my product very well. I'm not from Anambra State. Service brought me to Anambra State, but look at me here. I was given opportunity to be empowered. We promise that the skills imparted on us must be used.
The ceremony featured presentation of 2 billion naira check as startup fund and certificates. In Oka, Ndem Carlo, NTA News.
Moving forward, Abia State government has discovered over 20 decomposed dead bodies and countless human skeletons around Lokbantakato Market in Umunochi local government area of the state. The state governor, Alex Oti, disclosed this during his monthly media chat held in Government House, Umahia. Ifomando Koli was there.
At the media chat tagged Governor Oti Speaks, the state chief executive pointed out that prostitution, narcotics trade and other criminal vices around the Lokwanta cattle market necessitated the raid of the market when some brothels were recently brought down, adding that normalcy has been restored to Umunnochi community. The governor revealed that decomposed bodies and human skeletons were discovered recently at the cattle market and insisted that the market should be a daily general market operating between the hours of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., all in a bid to stem the tide of insecurity in the area.
Fresh. With uncountable skeletons, those ones have been killed and have decomposed to what we see as skeletons, still around metals.
The governor noted that his administration has commenced fencing of the cattle market to ensure adequate security of lives and property of traders in the market.
We found out that a lot of the ransom that was paid for kidnapping ended up somewhere around the village. And we decided to document the case. And what we found out shocked us.
Governor Oti, who later disclosed the deployment of security guardians at strategic places in the state, listed some of the roads he has awarded for reconstruction to include Ahafia Abam Okobaro Chukwu Road, Nonya Road in Isukwata, and Ahafia Uturu Ihechowa Amovi Road. He called on the people to continue to support his administration's effort towards achieving a new Abia. In Umuahia, Ifeoma Ndu Okolie, NTN News.
A renowned constitutional lawyer and former Secretary General of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Professor Ben Mwabweze, is dead. The former Secretary and Minister of Education died at 92. Sources close to the legal luminary said that he passed on yesterday Sunday in his home. Professor Mwabweze, senior advocate of Nigeria, was born in 1932 in Atani, Anambra State. He was Nigeria's first academic senior advocate of Nigeria, a teacher, administrator, businessman, and former Minister of Education and Youth Development. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. Up next are sports tidbits. To end the news, a recap of the major stories. Experts have called for sustained advocacy as month of breast cancer awareness rounds off. Ebonyi State government has disbursed 1 billion naira for indigent hawkers. We also told you that Abia State government has discovered over 20 dead bodies around the Lokwanta cattle market. And that's the news. Thank you for watching and good night.
We, the entire family of late Mr. Charles and Agusagwa of Ukuto Village, Usude, in the local government area of Enugu State, regret to announce the death of our beloved father, grandfather, brother, and father-in-law, late Mr. Charles and Agusagwa. Burial arrangement, Tuesday, 31st October 2023, 6 p.m. Christian wake keep at his Enugu residence, number 19D Woodward Railway Quarters, Enugu. Friday, 3rd November 2023, 9:30 a.m. His body body leaves Eastern Nigeria Medical Center mortuary Enugu to his compound, Ukuto Village in Usude, in the local government area of Enugu State. Saturday, 4th November 2023, condolence visits continue. He is survived by a son, daughters, son-in-laws, grandchildren, and many other relations. Forever in our hearts. Signed by N. Charles Jr. for the family.
Like a bird.
Chief. Good morning, sir. You are here already?
No, now my spirit day, my body day for house. What kind of question is that? Were you not the one that fixed this meeting for 8 a.m.? You are now coming by 10 a.m. and start asking me job question.
But Chief, now, I'm sorry. Don't you also go late for meetings sometimes? You know now, African time.
No more African time. And no more pancaking of face during office hours. At the end of the day, we will lose valuable time. We will not make progress. If we want to move this nation forward, we must treat business as business and respect time. Change begins with me.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry. Can we go for the meeting now, Chief?
Better.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal
You people sell imported materials here. As beautiful as the shop is.
Auntie, buying foreign goods does not help our economy. Neither does it boost local production. And the good thing is Nigerian-made products are high quality. Really? And to make Nigeria great again, that is why I only sell made in Nigeria products. Because change begins with me.
Convinced. Change begins with me too.
Change begins with me.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome to Darling Court Hotels and Resorts, situated at 3 Airport Corner Road, Airport Corner Bus Stop along Airport Road, Emene, Enugu. A home away from home, where all your needs are available, even at an affordable rate. Our ultra-modern guest rooms, spacious parking lot, sports bar and recreational facilities, club lounge and VIP bar, guaranteed security, multi-purpose hall. Come and let us pamper you a little, and you will never regret it. For reservations and inquiries, call 0803-224-5229, 0812-344-3344, 0909-602-3096. Garden Court Hotels and Resorts. Staying is believing.
We are off to the health center. It's nearly 12 kilometers, but distance is no factor. Some days are harder than others. If it rains, this stream is flooded. I am happy that my dear husband is going with me today. This is going to be the third visit. The first was when my baby was born. The second time was 6 weeks after his birth. The third is today, which is 10 weeks after birth. I still have 2 more visits to go. When my baby is 14 weeks old, and again at 9 months. That is exactly 5 visits before my baby is 1 year.
You've come for your baby's immunization?
Yes, we have.
It's okay.
My neighbor once asked me why. Must I go? I told her my baby's future is important to me.
Show how you care for your children by making sure they are immunized 5 times before their first birthday. Because if you don't finish it, you haven't done it.
My guest on the program today is a teacher who rose to become the principal in her time. She was principal for 10 solid years. And for that, we'll be sharing a lot about her wealth of experience and what she's been able to use these experiences of hers to do in the educational system. Now, a quick look at her educational background shows that she attended a mission school, precisely Anglican Secondary School at Alo, and she came out with grade 1. Then she went forward to go to Alvan Ikoku College of Education, Owerri. This was in 1976 for her NCE, and she came out with distinction. She had a BA Hons in Education and French language, and also in Literature and Civilization in 1987. She has 2 master's degrees to her credit. The first is in Educational Administration and Planning at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. This was in 1996. And the second in French Translation in 2006. This was also at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. And for my guest, she has this love for French. And for that, she also acquired this specialist certificate in 2004. She'll be telling us a lot about herself and her contribution to the society via all the things that she studied. We will take a break. When we return, it will be time to meet my guest. Don't touch the dial. Now, time to meet my guest. And my guest is Victoria Chineku Egwim Ma. You're welcome to Guest of the Week.
Thank you, Jane.
It's really a pleasure, having you with us today in our studio. Now, you've had this wealth of experience in the teaching profession. You rose in the cadre. We used to hear growing up that the rewards of teachers is in heaven. And I don't know if it is still the same thing today. With 10 years of experience as a principal, I'm sure you spent over 30 years in this teaching profession. You'll be able to tell us precisely how many years. But tell us really, the reward of teachers, is it still in heaven, or are things better for the teachers?
Thank you very much, Christian. Generally, things are better for the teachers. But the origin of that saying is the fact that there's no amount of money that one can pay a teacher to cover the work they do. The teachers do a lot of work in the life of students, even sometimes it extends to the family. Yes, that's why that saying is there. And the teacher's reward is in heaven, because nobody will be able to pay the teacher for the work they do in any given situation.
Really, nobody can pay a teacher for the work that they do. Now, let's quickly take a look at your teaching profession and the major contributions that you made in this teaching industry. Tell us about it.
Okay. Teaching is a calling. People don't just go to teach and teach well if they are not called for that profession. When I graduated from college, I had a lot of opportunities to work in other places, but I said to myself, I will teach. I love the youth. I love to make a positive impact on the lives of youths. That's why I went to teaching, and I enjoyed every bit of it. Yes, I enjoyed every bit of it because, assuming I had a class of 30 students, it gives me joy to get to know them one by one, their individual characters. And in my interaction with them, I see exactly where they have flaws and where they have virtues. Yes, and I work on that. I work on that. And it became unconscious at a stage. When some of the ex-students I handled come back, they tell me what I did for them. And I say, when did this happen? And because I get to their individual problems, apart from teaching them the learning experiences, I also touch their lives. You see how they look at life.
Yes.
And then trying to teach them leadership qualities. Because somebody has to teach that. Some of those students don't have the opportunity of getting it from home. Because the parents are now very busy looking for money. You blend them halfway, you leave them, because they have to have money to take care of those students.
Yes.
So it's the interaction and changing positively the lives of the students, which is of very great interest to me. And when I teach, I drive home the facts, so that after teaching, the student will not leave it there or regurgitate for exams. It will be put in his life. So practice also. Like if you teach a student 2 plus 2 equals 3, you have to practicalize it. Maybe you give the person 2 naira to go to the market and purchase something. After purchasing, what is the change? That is mathematics. Now see, the maths teacher does not drive home that point. The student may drop it at the classroom and wouldn't know that maths is life. Then for language, when you teach language, you go to meet people, you communicate with them. You draw from your wealth of experience to communicate effectively. Otherwise, the teaching will not have taken root. So when we teach, we drive home the points and make it a life experience that they could put into practice anytime, anywhere.
Okay. Now, when we look at teaching the way it used to be and what we have now, in the olden days in your time and now, we look at parents, though we put our children in various schools of repute, so to say, but we see parents going out of their way to employ hands, extra hands, to teach and brush up these children. What's the problem? Does it mean that what we had in the past is better than what is ongoing now?
In the past, it was almost all boarding school. And the school authority drew the program for the students, and they must comply. Like myself, I went to a mission school. We must comply. When it's time for siesta, we must go and take siesta. When it's time for prep, we must go for prep. And that prep, teachers will be there to supervise and make sure you're doing that prep, not just sitting there. When it is time for games, we go for games. So when it's time for manual labor, everybody goes out for manual labor. But what we have these days is more of neighborhood schools. The students come from home. So the school, in fact, takes care of the students maybe from 7:30 to 2:05, and where they do extension lessons, it stretches up to around 5. Then after that, the students go. What happens in the evening, the teachers don't know. They give assignment quite all right,
yes.
But some homes are not comfortable enough for the students to do that assignment. Some parents are not always there to supervise, because for education to succeed, there must be supervision at every level.
Supervision at every
Supervision
level.
at every level. At home, because the child is at the center of the education industry. The child is there, the school is there, the home is there. The home, especially now that we have neighborhood schools, the home has a very important part to play. So when we give assignments, we don't follow them home to make sure they do that.
They only resurface the following day. And when it's time for that subject, that's the only time the teacher can know whether the work was done at home or not. So it's, schools do not have enough time to supervise the students. They do that while they're in school. At home, that's where the problem starts. Then, some parents have so spoiled their children that they are not motivated. The students are not motivated.
How do you mean when you say spoiled?
Spoiled, yes. Because we have some students who go to school to please their parents. See, there is no motivation. Nobody has done any work on them to tell them that this education is important so that you will have a future. And they think they're doing it for their parents. Yes. So, and whatever you do, if the parents don't surface or don't do anything like engaging an extra teacher, the student may not do very well. Some parents, I pity them. Even after doing that, students, some of them don't do well. But a student that is motivated will stay in class, do everything the teacher asks him to do every assignment and submit. That student will never fail. Will never fail.
Okay, now I've met some students who complain a lot about the workload that they had to deal with. From school, they are over-labored. At home, it is extra homework to take home to deal with. There's no time for recreation in their life, really. It's always classwork, 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 most of the times. Academics, purely. There's no time for extracurricular activities. Do you think this is part of the problem?
When you saturate a child's brain, the child reacts. There is diminishing result, diminishing effect. But or in any school setting, I don't think the students will get so much work that he wouldn't be able to finish that work, if not that day, the following day. And I teach my students not to do just academics. They must do household chores. Because they're human beings, some are girls, some are boys. They must do household chores. When I help them draw their timetable at home, I put time for household chores. The grown-ups among them must prepare meals for the family. They cannot just read and read.
Yes.
And who cooks?
And who cooks?
So it has to be the appropriate use of time.
Okay, appropriate
Time
use
management.
of time.
Yes.
Let's look at how you've been principal for 10 good years. How were you able to monitor the teachers who teach in the school and ensure that they follow the syllabuses and the scheme of work that they are given? How do you ensure that they strictly follow that and that the students also are showing signs of learning and following what they are doing?
Okay. That's supervision. We come back to supervision. Yes. We have arms, various arms through which we do the supervision. Sometimes I go out myself to do that. Also, we have the VP Academics, have the Dean of Studies, and all these have days they supervise, and the scheme of work is given where I work, is given first week of every term. And the students know the scheme of work. Some parents who are interested know the scheme of work also. As we progress, we check up those ones that have been done. If, for any reason, towards the end of the term, the whole work is not done, we mark the one that is not done and make sure we create time to finish it. We create time either during the holidays or at the beginning of the following term and make sure we finish that. We go all out to make sure we finish it. We have various arms that monitor that. Sometimes the principal officers go to help who is the VP Academics. Though the VP Academics is really always on his toes if work has to be done and done well. But he needs help.
Okay, you were at a stage in charge of curriculum development.
Yes.
What did you do in that area to help in academics?
Yes, in that area, the federal government issues what they say is the syllabus. Okay. Then we break it down. Then we look at it ourselves. Sometimes we go to private schools to see whether they have anything extra to add. So we pull from every area to make our own robust then we also by ourselves, my committee, we will always think of what those students will need extra. And we have to incorporate that and ensure that it is taught in a normal learning environment in those areas, so that we make sure we give them what they need. Yeah, it's centrally organized, but we do some work on it to make sure it serves our purposes.
Okay, how were you able to deal with the issue of science subjects? Most times you hear there are a few of them handling these science subjects. Students are ever afraid of mathematics. Is it physics or chemistry? It's always a problem. How were you able to deal with it to ensure that these students fall in love with these subjects?
A subject like mathematics, we start from the first year, because the problem is fundamental. It's even societal. Yes, they say that maths is very difficult. They have not tried it to.
So it's an assumption.
Yes, the students have not tried it. They have not put in any effort. But the only thing I know about mathematics is that it's have to be applied regularly. If it's applied, if it is done regularly, they develop love for it. We select those students who didn't do well at the entrance examination level. We pick them. Some of them will do very well in English language and even in social studies, general paper. But mathematics, they might get 10/50 there. So we pick those ones and then give them the fundamentals of primary mathematics in the secondary school.
Okay.
Yes, and after doing that, we get more than 75% success. The other ones are that are always failures. And after every promotion exam, we will select those who did not have up to 45% and give them what we call remedial lessons. There are some students who even passed would come because we deal with the fundamentals there.
And those remedial lessons.
Remedial lessons. We find out what is the hub of mathematics that gives problem to students. That's what we teach in those remedial lessons. So some students even opt to take part, even when they have passed.
Okay.
We succeed. It will never be 100% success, but we made impact.
You've done a lot of professional presentations, paper presentations, and you picked various topics really for these presentations. First, what prompted them, and what impact did these presentations make in the society? There are a few really that I'll pick out. Something like there was one I saw about the negative impact of the social media, and I started wondering, is it all about negativism in the social media? But really, what prompted these professional presentations that you did through the years?
Yes, I deal with youth.
Yes.
And there have been numerous cases of where youths abused themselves or were abused because of the social media. They didn't apply the experience very well. Social media is wonderful. The positive effect is more than the negative, but the negative could be destructive. That's why I harped on that. Whenever I want to talk to them, I tell them, it's good. Social media is good. You get information. Yes, you can pass across information, you get knowledge, everything is there. But you have to be very careful about the negative effects because it could be destructive.
What major things did you think you were able to put into the educational system that helped to improve it within the period you were there in this educational system?
Yes. One is I taught those under me to take teaching as a career and take the future of whoever is entrusted in every year into consideration while doing whatever they are doing, one. Then we teach and teach so that it becomes part of life. Then again, at the level of evaluation, to table of specification, which is a part of evaluation and measurement, we try to entrench it. Because many education industries do not think of that. So when I insisted that it should be done,
yes,
so that after teaching a child, driving home the point, then you grade the questions from simple to complex. It's at that complex level that analytical mind is built in the children. Some education industries do not go to that level. And I insisted that it should be done. Table of specification. Every teacher that did education should have done that in the university. I would always get them trained, and the only way to find out whether they have really made an impact, whether we have made an impact, is to send them to compete with others. And we did a lot of that. And they brought back a lot of laurels. For example, there's a bus that the students are using now. It was won by a student. You know, a text mania competition in Lagos. And also won a library for the school.
Wow.
Yes, a bus and a library. And then huge sums of money for them.
30 years of experience in teaching, being a principal for 10 years. What major challenges did you face, and how were you able to deal with them?
The challenges, one, administration is not an easy task. Because there's nothing as complex as human beings. So the challenge is how to harness. And those individuals have a lot of goodies, I would say goodies, have a lot of talents in them. Yes, even though so everybody has something good in them. So it is discovering that something good and then harnessing it for goal achievement. That was a task right from day one. And I think I managed well to harness it. And that's why we are succeeding, doing well. I managed to do that. That's the most difficult task, getting the capabilities of individuals, harnessing them for goal achievement. Two major objectives of secondary education. One, prepare them for useful living in the society. And second, prepare them for higher education. So we always look at that. So anywhere we will get capabilities from teachers, strengths, in order to champion these two objectives. I didn't spare energy doing this.
Now, looking at you, Ma, you've really done so well. You've imparted in the society. Could you share with us today some of the major qualities that helped you to become the best that you are today, so that the younger ones can look at it and also follow?
I'm a listener. I always listen. Nobody could come to me and be showering me with either abuses or talks or whatever. I'll just stay quiet and listen. When I'm listening, I'm getting information from that person. Yes. I'm a good listener. And when I deal with people, I think of humanity, what would benefit humanity. I have even told some of them, I am doing this for the sake of humanity. If I look at your action, you don't merit it, but I have to do it for humanity. Please, tomorrow, do this also. Don't look at A or B and what A has done or what B has done. Just do it. Will it benefit humanity? Ask that question always. If it benefits humanity, go ahead and do it. So that's really, so sometimes when I disagree with my workers, we decide to agree. Because I will always talk reason into them. Then some parents who don't understand will come and holler at us. And we will listen to them and then try to let them understand that that's not the way. That they don't always have it right. And by the time we talk to them for about 10 to 15 minutes, they will change their mind. Yes. I don't run off with my temper with both parents and students and even teachers.
Okay. Share with us very quickly some of the awards of excellence you've received in the course of this job for many years.
Once one company came and organized a competition for the secondary schools in Enugu metropolis.
Okay.
And our school came first, became the most outstanding school, and I became the most outstanding principal.
That's really good.
And once the students perform well, the administrative head has performed well also.
Exactly.
And all these, prizes they are winning, we go along with them. The school always has a pat on the back, sometimes a certificate But the ones that belong to this, the one that is written principal, I have left it. But the one that is personal, I have taken it.
All right. What's your word of advice to people that are watching this program today? In the teaching profession, some will take it as maybe a waiting job, to be able to see that millionaire job that they are looking forward to. What's your advice to them? And also to the children, so that they too can listen, be patient enough to work hard to be able to get there. What's your advice?
The teachers, one, if they don't have the calling to teach, and for one reason or the other they find themselves teaching, they just have to settle down and become interested in it, and then improve themselves. Some people do not have the wonderful opportunity of going to very good schools, or the environment, having a very cordial environment for learning. So they didn't learn well while at school. But they can always improve themselves.
Yes.
For the students, they have to be taught how to manage time. But some students don't know how to manage time.
Time management.
Especially now that they don't live in the boarding school. There's no bell ringing. Even in the boarding schools, they're having some problems. So those who come from home, who attend neighborhood schools, they have to be taught how to manage their time. I did that a lot. I helped them to draw timetable at home, study timetable at home. I invite parents. When I say the student is not doing wonderfully, I invite the parents, and together we will draw the timetable.
Wow, you have heard it all. It is really, really very important that the students listen well as the teachers teach. Teaching is said to be a noble profession. Why? Because it shapes character, it shapes caliber, and it shapes the future of every child, thereby shaping the future of the society. If we do what we are supposed to do as parents, after the teachers have played their part, parents, we need to work harder to monitor our children, ensure that they keep to time in things that they do so that they will come out better. I want to thank you so much, Ma, for coming on this program, Guest of the Week. My guest has been Victoria Chineku Egwim. I am Jane Madwagna. Next week, this program will still be on this platform. Ensure that you always tune in to watch. At this point in time, I want to say God bless you. Bye-bye.